This conference will now be recorded.
In part of the full stack web development, we are working on web applications. Web application is an application which is going to be running through browser. Web application is collection of web pages. Web page is collection of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML basically using for design web page, construct web page, and CSS is going to be basically using for decorate a web page, providing some cosmetic changes, providing some decorations, all these things. And HTML and CSS both are not programming languages. We have to understand the syntax of HTML and we have to understand syntax of CSS, all these things. And coming to the JavaScript, JavaScript is functional part of the web page where you are going to be adding the events, where you are going to be connecting the servers, where you are going to be adding the data, and how you want to convert your static web application to dynamic web applications. Then definitely JavaScript is needed. JavaScript is compulsory for that. And different kind of web applications. There are multiple kind of web applications which are available in the market. Social media applications, business, shopping, ticket booking, trading, media, news, stock market, education, real estate, etc. And finally, guys, if you want to develop the throughout web application, what is the agenda? What is the agenda? So agenda is very simple. We need to work with the front-end technologies. We need to work with the back-end technologies. What is the date today? 13/14, 14/2. So every day I'm going to be saving the files and I will share the files into the WhatsApp group and I will share the files into the GitHub and I will give you the recorded sessions, all these things, everybody. No worries. So you just do practice well. After my record is added into your drive, whatever it may be. And so to develop this web application, full stack web application now, this full stack web application. So one more thing I'm telling to you people, if you want to learn full stack web application, there is no qualification needed, there is no percentages needed, there is no pre-technical skills also needed. You start from beginning, and there are a lot of opportunities which are available in the market, IT market. So everybody can able to crack the job. There is no point. And the only thing is you have to spend your time for 2.5 months aggressively on this. Then we can able to develop the full stack application finally end of the day. So there are two kind of technical skills we need to understand for the full stack web application. One is the front end technologies. Front end technologies we need to get understand, and one more is back end technologies we need to get understand. Back end technologies. What are the different kind of front end technologies we have to go for? What are the different kind of back end technologies we have to go for? So coming to the front end technologies, there are multiple kind of front end technologies which are available in the market, but the basic one HTML and CSS, JavaScript. Everybody should know the basic one HTML, CSS, JavaScript first of all. The basic level technical skills in the part of the front end. Basic level technical skills in the part of the front end is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So once we're done with the basic level, we have to go for the advanced level. In the part of the advanced level, we have to go for the some other technical skills like HTML5. Here we need to go for HTML4, CSS2. And finally, in the part of the advanced level, HTML5, CSS3, and jQuery and ES6, jQuery Bootstrap, ES6 and React.js. ES6 with React.js. Let me go with ES6 with React.js. So these are the advanced level technical skills in the part of the front end we need to get understand. We need to go and learn. So online people, Rambabu is a new guy, and Kiran, who is this Kiran? I don't.
This conference will now be recorded.
Basic level HTML4, CSS2, JavaScript. Advanced level HTML5, CSS3, jQuery, Bootstrap, ES6 with React.js. And coming to the backend technologies, what are the different kind of backend technologies we have to go for, and we need to understand backend technologies for. So there are multiple backend technologies available in the market. So PHP is there, .NET is there, Java is there, and Ruby is there. Python Django is there. Python Django, Flask, and Fast API, and Cherry Pie. See, there are multiple things which are available based on the Python, multiple frameworks which are available on Python. And one more is Node.js. Node.js is very, very tremendous in the market. And we can go for Node.js, Express.js. This is very, very good in the back of our backend. For each and every backend server technology, we have to follow with the database. For example, with PHP, you can go for MySQL or MongoDB. PHP with the MySQL or MongoDB. .NET with the SQL Server. Most of the people working with SQL Server.NET. Most of the people working with the Java Oracle and Ruby Rails, and Python Django, Flask, Cherry Pie. You can work with the MongoDB or MySQL. And Node Express, better one is the MongoDB. You can go for MongoDB, or you can go for MySQL, or you can go for Firebase. Any kind of database you can take. Firebase Google's one. You can take any one of the database with the part of server side. So end of the day, with front-end technologies and back-end technologies, then we make it merge. You can able to develop the full-fledged web application. Full-fledged web application, which is same thing like your Amazon, which is same thing like your Amazon, which is same thing like your YouTube or Flipkart, which is same thing like Amazon, which is same thing like Flipkart. So you can able to create a web application like this end of the day. Okay. So, and this web application can do the business. This web application is a platform. This can do business, and this web application having a lot of clients. This application is going to be. This is web application called Flipkart, and this web application having lot of retailers. This web application is having lot of retailers, and this web application is having lot of customers. So you are the customer, I am the customer, everybody is a customer. There are a lot of customers which are going to be communicating with the Flipkart, and they can do purchases. All these purchases are going to be happening with the Flipkart. Flipkart taking some money, and this retailer gets some money. Flipkart is going to be taking some 10% money, but 90% money is going to be taken by the retailer. This is the business. A lot of businesses which are going to be implementing on top of the web applications are done with the web applications. You can take a Facebook. On top of the Facebook, you can connect with the people throughout the world. See, web applications are working with internet, sir. Internet is available throughout the world, and with internet you can able to connect people anytime, anywhere, 24/7. Always servers are running. Always you can connect with the people in the Facebook. You can connect with the people in the Flipkart. You can connect with the people in the Instagram, Twitter. Okay, finally, we have to start with the web application development part. I told you no prerequisites needed. No prerequisites needed. So prerequisites. What are the prerequisites to learn this particular full stack development? There is no prerequisites, sir. Everybody can learn. BSc people can learn. BTech people can learn. MCA people can learn. And MA people can learn. BA people can learn. Yeah. BCA people can learn. Yeah, everybody can learn. There is no issues. Everybody can learn. The thing is, you need to have some interest on this, and you need to be put some focus on this. That's enough. And what are the system requirements? What are the system requirements you have to take for system requirements? You take any one of the operating systems, sir. There is no system requirement. You can take Mac operating system. You can take Mac operating system. You can take a Windows operating system. You can take Linux. You can take any one of the operating system. There is no issue with that. And one more thing, what are the software requirement you need to go for? Software requirement. Software requirement, we need to take one editor, we need to take one browser. You need to take one editor and we need to take one browser. One editor, one browser enough. And what are the different kind of editors which are available in the internet market? So there are multiple editors. You can take Notepad. Notepad also you can take, and Notepad++ you can develop. And Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code you can work with. And you can take Eclipse. You can take Sublime Text. Sublime text, and you can take brackets, and you can take atom. You can work with the brackets, you can work with atom, you can work with Visual Studio. You can take any one of the editor. There's no problem with editor. You can take any one of the editor, but I am using Visual Studio Code. This is the best editor where you can work with the full stack web applications. And coming to the browsers, there are multiple browsers available in the market. Then you take a Chrome, you take a Firefox, you take Chrome, you take Firefox, you take Internet Explorer, you take Safari. Any one of the browsers, there is no specification for the particular browser. Any one of the browser you can work with. And editor, this is the best editor I'm using for Visual Studio Code, or you can go for Sublime Text, you can go for brackets, you can go for Atom. No worries. Why? Because of Visual Studio Code is going to be having a lot of plugins available. The best IDE where you can use for full stack web development, and everything is okay. Finally, I want to start with the part of the HTML. So how our course is going to be moving on. First, I'm going to be teaching with you HTML code. Then I'm going to be teaching with you CSS2. Then I'm going to be teaching with you JavaScript. Then I'm going to be teaching with you CSS3, HTML5. Then I'm going to be teaching with you jQuery. Then I'm going to be teaching with you Bootstrap. So this is the learning way. This is the learning way. And finally, after the Bootstrap, I'm going to be discussing with you React.js. React.js is very, very tremendous in the market. And after the React.js, I'm moving to the backend part. In the backend part, I'm going to be dealing with you Node.js. After the Node.js, I'm moving with you Express.js. And after that, I'm going to be dealing with you MongoDB. So this is one pattern. This is one pattern of full stack with Node.js. What is this? Full stack with Node.js. This is full stack with Node.js. Backend is Node.js, front end is common. Front end till now, till React.js, it is front end. And this is backend. Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB is backend. See, some of the people got interested with Python Django backend. Some of the people interested with what? Python Django backend. So for them, what my requirement is, front end common, sir. Front end common. I'm going to be dealing the front end till React.js. Then backend, what change? What backend will be here? And I'm going to be teaching with you Python, and I'm going to be teaching with you Django here. Django. And after that, I'm going to be teaching with you MongoDB database. This is finally backend part for the Python people. So who people want interested in the Node.js, I will put them into the Node.js batch. And who people got interested in Python Django, I'll put into the Python Django batch. But don't learn everything, sir. Don't learn everything in the backend. In the backend technologies, you have the option. In the backend technologies, you have the option. One option you choose. One option you choose. Don't learn everything. If you are learning everything, it will take 3 years. But any one backend enough. Learn any one of the backend. But front end is common, sir. Front end is compulsory. Front end is compulsory. And in the part of the front end, you have the Angular and you have the Vue.js also. But I'm not going to be teaching 3 modern frameworks. Any one of the, here you have the option. See, people are actually taking option in the part of the modern, and people are taking option in the backend. Here in this option, I'm choosing React.js. Why? Because of React.js is popular nowadays. So I'm not going to be dealing with Angular. I'm not going to be dealing with the Vue.js. I'm going to be dealing with the React.js in the part of the front-end modern technologies. The backend also you have the option. From the backend, I'm going to be choosing the two things. People want to interest with the Node.js, I'll go with the Node.js. People want to interested with the Django, I'll go with the Django. Django is famous in Python. That's all I know. So I hope everybody got understand all these things. Let me start with the HTML today. Let me start with the HTML today. So straightforward, I am starting with HTML code. What is HTML? HTML is basically, what is HTML? Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. One more point. HTML is not programming. Yes, very, very good. I'm just happy with this. Everybody happy with this? HTML is not programming. HTML is just a syntax. HTML is just syntax. And HTML have all predefined tags. HTML have all predefined tags. Those are multiple bricks which are going to be available in the pattern. So whenever you want to construct home, basically we need to take bricks. Whenever you want to construct home, basically we need to take bricks, lot of bricks. 1 ton, 1 lorry, 2 lorry bricks we need to take. So in the same way, collection of elements we are actually picking. That element is called a brick, and HTML is going to be having all predefined bricks. So the brick type is different. Suppose you're taking a brick called P for paragraph. You're taking a brick called div for division. You're taking a brick called table for table design. If you're taking a brick for form design. You're taking a brick for IMG, images. Whenever you want to place images, you take IMG. Whenever you want to take a brick like headings, H1 to H6. See, all these are predefined tags. All these are predefined tags. We are actually choosing the tags, placing the tags on top of the page and fitting to the browser. Browser is going to be rendering your bricks. Browser is going to be visualize your web page. So HTML, what for HTML? Only for design, sir. HTML only for design. Design a static template. Design a static template. That is what actually HTML is. Without CSS, without JavaScript, HTML is ugly. Ugly means only bricks. You are constructing home. Home is ugly. Whenever you are giving some decorations, you are giving colors and all. Then house is good look and feel. House decorated with colors. House decorated with a lot of equipments. Then only house is good. Same way, HTML only for designing static template. HTML files are saving with .html format. .html format. Remember it. HTML files are saving with .html format. This is very, very important point. This is very, very important point. Triple star. HTML files are saving with .html format. Without .html, you can't able to create any HTML file. Whenever you are creating a file called PDF, .pdf is mandatory. Whenever you are creating a text file, .txt is mandatory. Whenever you are creating the Excel file, XLS is mandatory. Whenever you are creating a PPT file, .ppt mandatory. In the same way, whenever you are creating HTML file, .html is mandatory. Just give the .html format. Whenever I am giving .html format, yes, my HTML file was ready, and you can render this page to the browser. You can render this page to the browser. So I'm taking the web page like this. I'm going to be saving the file with .html like this. So file name is whatever you want. Suppose I'm taking the file name a.html. A.html. I'm taking bricks. I'm placing bricks. I'm placing bricks on top of the HTML. And finally, this is going to be rendering to the. And finally, this is going to be rendered into the browser. So browser visualize your content. Browser visualize your content. Whatever the content you placed on top of the HTML web page, that will be visualized in the browser. So your browser is going to be visualized whatever the content you have, whatever the content you placed. That's the formula. That's the formula. Later, on top of this HTML, I am going to be injecting CSS. Later, on top of this HTML, I am going to be injecting JavaScript. Later, on top of this HTML, I am going to be injecting jQuery. See, a lot of other things we are going to be placing on top of the HTML. Try to understand how the things are going to be happening. Finally, end of the day, visualization is on top of the browser. Your complete full stack web application rendering on top of the browser. Browser is the end point for you. Browser is the visualized point for you. But for this browser, I need to give a lot of technical skills. The first technical skill is HTML to design. Second technical skill is CSS to decorate, to give styles. Third technical skill is JavaScript to give the functional part. And jQuery. jQuery is the lightweight version of JavaScript. Bootstrap to make your application responsive, to make your page responsive. Then we are going with React.js, make it modern, simplified with a single page. Then we are taking the data from the databases to this page. I'm taking the data from the database. using with server communicating with the database, everything is possible, sir. But end of the day, your application is visualized in the browser. Your application visualized on top of the browser. So remember this point. This is what actually the scenario is. I'll draw the scenario, guys, don't worry. I'll draw the scenario, the paint. Let me take a paint, and I'm going to be drawing the scenario, how this web application is going to be work. Suppose, for example, you are defining your HTML content. Here. Suppose I'm going to be taking the file name with the file.html. I'm defining my content with file.html. So I'm taking a lot of elements on top of the HTML. I'm going to be defining a lot of elements on top of the HTML. So after this, I just want to make it visualize in top of the browser. So this is my browser finally. I want to visualize this, or I want to visualize this on top of the browser. This is my browser where you can render your page. This is browser. Finally, end of the day, browser is going to be visualize your HTML. But only HTML is not enough, sir. Then what I'm going to be giving is, I'm going to be injecting to this HTML using with the CSS. And I'm going to be injecting to this HTML with JavaScript to make it functional. I'm going to be injecting this HTML with Bootstrap. I'm going to be injecting to this HTML with React.js. And I'm going to be injecting this particular web page using with jQuery, for example. But this web page is having a lot of data. This web page, whatever the web page you are designing with, that web page need a data. How this data is going to be presenting with? For example, I'm going to be defining a Facebook application. This is my Facebook application. Facebook have a lot of customers. Facebook having a lot of users, and users are posting messages. Users are posting videos. Users are chatting. Users are doing a lot of things on top of the Facebook. Facebook is going to be having a marketplace. They can able to promote their products. Facebook have videos. Facebook have promotions. How the data is going to be fetching from? How the data is going to be accessing from? Data is going to be accessing from the server with the databases. That is important, sir. Your web page is going to be having data. How the data is going to be coming from? Data is going to be coming from server. Server always communicating with the databases. So end of the day, your data is going to be coming from database, and server is going to be processing the data and sending to the web page. And this process is called backend. Completely this process is called backend, sir. This is backend. Front end, backend. So this is front end. All this is front end. Where is the front end, sir? Can you see where is the front end? All this is front end. Where is the backend? All this is backend. Where is the front end? Where is the backend? Front end on top of the web page. Backend is that basically data. How the data is coming from, where the data got stored, how the data is manipulating. All this is backend. So combination of front end and backend, your application is going to be rendering to the browser. Your browser is going to be visualized your application. That application do the business. That application do anything. And everything is going to be working with internet. Without having internet, any browser will run. Yeah, without having internet also browser will run, but browser don't have any data. Browser is empty. But when you have the internet connection, internet is trying to working on server trying to working on database, and you are getting the data from database. Server is doing the process, sending to the client page. Data is going to be sending to the client page. Client page now visualized with a lot of data. A lot of web pages getting loading from the servers using by the internet. Internet is mandatory, sir. Web applications are working with internet and working with the browsers. So end of the day, you try to understand how these web applications are working for. This is architecture. Now let's try to write some HTML file. First HTML web page. First HTML web page. How to create first HTML web page? Very simple, straightforward. How to create first HTML web page? Very simple, straightforward. Okay, the immediate one is open your editor. First point, sir. Open your editor. Open your editor. After opening your editor, second point, save file as file.html format. And third one, write HTML content inside, HTML tags inside. Fourth point, render page in browser. So before this, we need to do one thing. If you are working with Visual Studio Code, you need to work with the things. We need to add a plugin, sir. Plugin need to be added. What is a plugin name called? Open in default browser. Open in default browser. This is the plugin we need to add there. This is the plugin we need to add there. So this is the Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, go to the fifth button over there. Where is the fifth button, sir? This is the fifth button called some 4 blocks are there here. So go to this button and click on this button. You will be having plugins option. You search for the plugin. What is the plugin name? Open in default browser. Open in default browser. Open in default browser is a plugin. This is the plugin. Open in default browser is a plugin. You need to install it. By default, it is uninstall mode. You have to go for the install. By default, it is going to be in install button. When you click on install, it's going to be installing for you, and finally install button converting to uninstall. Okay. So this is the plugin. Please add the plugin to the Visual Studio Code. After adding the plugin, try to create a new web page. Control N, Control S. Control N, taking new page. Control S, saving the page. How to save? Where the save? In 42 folder, I'm saving the first page, first_page. .html. I told you .html is mandatory. Without .html, you don't create any HTML file. Now try to write tags. Try to write a tags, but without a tags, I am writing something. Okay, full stack with React and a Node. Full stack with React and a Node. I'm trying to writing some content over there. Just to save, Control S. Control S for save. Control N for create new. Yeah, that's it. 2 things. And right click on this, open in default browser. You will see one option there. Open in default browser. This option actually available when you added a plugin there. If you don't add a plugin, you can't able to see this one. If you don't add a plugin, you can't able to see this one. So this one is going to be adding open in default browser. I got, and now I right click on this, trying to opening in default browser. I got my browser. I got my content, full stack, React and Node. Okay, still I'm not writing any tag here. I'm just writing a plain text, but it should be visualized. Even you are not writing a single element also, single brick also, your text is going to be rendering to the web page. Yes, it can be possible, sir. It can be possible. That is a flexibility of the HTML. And I'm writing something more. I'm writing something like Python, Django. More line I'm writing. One more line I'm writing. Django. One more line I'm writing, and one more line I'm writing Python class. And then one more line I'm writing MongoDB. How many lines we have now? How many lines of the text we have now? 4 lines. Yes or no? And let me save here. Let me render here. Where is my rendering? My rendering in the browser. Now you see the browser. Browser is going to be having everything in the same line. You're writing 4 lines. but browser is visualized with a single line. Browser is visualizing with a single line. What's the problem? Where is the problem? So your browser can't able to understand you're taking 4 lines. Now give some instruction to the browser. Hey browser, please break it. Please break it after the Python Django, Python React Node.js. Please break it. If you want to make it break, you need to say to the browser, hey browser, please break it. Hey browser, please break it. I'm telling you. BR is the instruction. BR is the tag. It is going to be giving some instruction to the browser. Hey browser, please break it. Hey browser, please break it. When I said, I got my lines got break. I got 4 lines now. Each and every line having some break. This is what actually we have to learn in the part of the HTML. What is the tag? How the tag is going to be utilizing? What is the benefit of that particular tag? All those things we have to learn in the part of HTML. HTML will take only 4 to 5 days. Within 4 to 5 days, I am going to be finishing your HTML4. CSS also I am going to be finishing with you in 4 days or 5 days. And coming back, let me write some more tags. Let me take H1, full stack, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Only 6 headings are there. Only 6 headings. H3, H4, H5, H6. Open and close. H4, H5, H6. 6 headings I'm taking. Now you see how many headings we got? 6 headings. Heading is basically bold. Heading is basically bolder. I got a bold content. Yeah. So that is what actually heading is. Let me take a paragraph. Paragraph is a bunch of text. I'm taking bunch of text for the paragraph. Now you see your paragraph got added. Your paragraph got added. Okay, let me take one image. I'm showing just how the tags are going to be adjusting on top of the page. And tomorrow onwards, I'm going to be working with a number of tags. What is the importance of the break tag? What is the importance of the D tag? What is the importance of the heading tag? What is the importance of the div tag? Each and every tag one by one I will explain from tomorrow. But today I'm just giving the demonstration how this HTML is going to be working on. So let me take SRC. SRC is source. SRC is the source for image. Let me take one image, guys. Images React.js. Let me take some image from this. So take this image, right click on this, copy image address, paste in the SRC. Paste in the SRC. Now you see that image in the browser. You see that image in the browser. Can you see that image is loading or not? Can you see that image was loaded or not? This is our web page, first web page. How to create your first web page, how to render this on top of the browser. It's very, very simple, straightforward. It's very, very simple, straightforward. No need to worry upon this. So, and